Welcome, and thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Electrical Estimating. I'm your co-host, Chris Trommer, and as always, I'm joined by our other co-host, Sal Huerta.
Hello, everyone.
Sal, we're back today with Mark, and we're getting an interesting perspective on how a large, well-established contractor utilizes their estimating team, how they sync up their members to make sure that they're putting the best team forward for each project that they're taking on. And I thought it was something that could be actionable for any size contractor or contractors looking to grow, because it does give that unique look into how they are going about each individual project that they're doing.
We've talked about this in the past about how um, contractors who specialize in certain jobs, one are good in hospitals, one are good in football stadiums, one are good are used car parking lots, lighting. This is kind of the same scenario when it comes into the people who work for you. If you're taking an estimate and you're going to have someone who's good on one portion of it, and yet someone who might be an expert on another portion of it. So getting all these people into the job beforehand, looking at the specific parts of it and basically handing off the parts that they're good at. So that way the job gets done quicker for one, but more importantly, it gets done in an expertise way.
Yeah, and we also are able to talk a little bit further on a topic we discussed in the past, and that's when looking for new talent for your estimating teams. And I think Mark puts it a good way because of the fact that they're a union shop. We've heard from people in the past looking at their electricians in the field coming into the office now as an estimator. I think he has a unique perspective in how they look for talent and then how they grow that talent once they're within the company because of the size of the company that they have.
Yes, I mean, from interns are always the normal starting spot, but then also younger people who are interested in the construction industry. The interesting part that he brings out is that the younger people today easily gravitate to these programs and can easily learn them. So it's not a big learning curve for them, the program wise, but code, electrical specifics. That's the stuff that they have to train them on. So yeah, so it's both of them. A young person who's bright, and then of course the company willing to spend the time to train them.
Yeah. And I think too, he sneaks in there some tidbits about how they go about looking at estimates, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great things that they do and what they can take away, and how they look at each individual estimate at its own, standalone project, but how they can take all that feedback from their previous jobs and integrate it into the new ones. So they're coming in stronger every time.
And I think that's the big takeaway is that looking at the job, especially when it's done, and seeing how you could do better for the next one.
All right. Well, let's not take up much more time. If you're joining us for this first episode ever, we thank you for joining us and hope you hit that subscribe button as we put out new episodes almost every single Friday. So, Sal, as always, great speaking with you.
Good talking with you as well.
All right, everybody. Well, take care. Talk to you soon. Mark, what would you say are some red flags that would indicate it's necessary for an estimating team to sort of find a new, fresh perspective? I guess if you're taking a look at your team or looking at what's occurred with your estimates lately, what are some key red flags that stand out to you to say, hey, maybe we should take a look at our processes or even personnel, or, sit down and have a conversation because something's not working for us?
From our perspective, EJ is a large, diverse company. So we kind of take a fresh perspective on every estimate, right? We are a support group within a very large company. So we provide supported estimating services for different divisions. So every job could be widely different from the one before it. Every time we start off, we are starting off with a fresh perspective. We try to lean into our strengths, which is try to match the estimators up to the task at hand. And if you have someone that's weaker in a certain task, we'll team them up with someone that's stronger at it. So I'm actually growing my group at the same time, and then providing a service to the division that includes a senior person and then a support staff to get it done correctly.
So you might have somebody that's a little stronger skill set in one particular area, and you'll team them up with somebody that maybe is a little weaker but has a stronger skill set in a separate area and have them work together on a particular estimate to get the best final result for you guys?
100%. Yeah. I mean, some of the jobs we work on are so large, you may have 5 or 6 people working on it concurrently. So really, we break it up by system and try to put the people in the systems that they work, they're the strongest workers for. That doesn't sound right, but someone who's highly skilled in switchgear, we'll have them work on the switchgear. Someone may be better at feeders. Someone may understand the systems or the small wire piece of the job, and that person will attack that and dig through the specs. So yeah, every job we form a team to make it work.
Now, do you find it beneficial having those people that have particular stronger skill sets in certain areas as a benefit for you because they can hone in on particular areas in comparison to have somebody that has maybe a little skill set in everything? Is that something you guys look for?
It is, and we're trying to grow it from within. We bring people in as interns in college, and we put them in different parts of the company. Hopefully, they spend some time here with us in estimating to get a feel for that. Then we see where they fit best. The people that we would consider a junior estimator or an intern are people that we want to grow through the business. So we'll team them up. One day they're taking off lighting. Next day they may be working on a fire alarm system. Maybe they're looking at feeders. Maybe that could maybe be outside their skill set, but that's how they learn it and how we grow into more senior people.
Mark, do you find that an intern or someone like that coming in to look into estimating versus somebody who's like an electrician coming in to learn estimating? Do you find which one of those are better than the other?
So we haven't had a lot of electricians come into this side of the business. We're a union shop, so that doesn't happen often. But what I have found on the senior level is people that have run a business or had to do everything are by far and away the best when it comes to managing a whole team of estimators and understanding all the different parts of the business. I think you can look around our company and find people that have had their own business or been in a leadership position in another business, and they can dive right into virtually any part of what we're doing here. To answer your question directly about the young people, the technology's changed so much since I started doing this. They dive right into it. Right? I can bring a kid out of college and say, "Oh, here's my estimating program," and they figure that out right away. They just don't understand electricity or code or any of that stuff, and that's where we work to school them up.
You were saying before you were having them work in different areas within the estimating. Is it sort of like over time, excuse me, over time, do you find that they work better in a certain area, like you said, fire alarms or switchgear or lighting? And if they continue on with your company, you sort of place them in that junior estimator role for that particular skill set so that they can hone it and grow it over time.
I like them to be proficient in it, but I think that could get very boring if that's all they did day in and day out. I
Mm.
mean, it's a select group of people that decide to stay in estimating. Most people have ambitions to go out and manage projects or go into our engineering group. So when we find someone that is good at it and wants to stay in our group, we want to make sure they're well rounded and have an idea how the whole thing works.
Now, you mentioned when we first started our conversation, we were talking about red flags and perspective, that you guys are always looking at every job with a fresh set of eyes, with a new perspective. But when you're, I guess, looking at things that are coming through, how can you recognize the signs that maybe your current process may hinder your profitability or project success? I know you were saying it's on a case by case basis, but is there any times that you look at your overall processes and say, look at, this might be time for us to look into and change something?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look at every job, and anybody that's done an estimate knows the ones you spend the most time are the ones that don't do well once you get awarded a job, right? So as a company, we always want to refine our processes, and people in the divisions that have to sit with us and work with us, it's an open dialogue back and forth. And maybe if you did it this way, it would be better. Maybe if you did it this way, it wouldn't cost so much to do the estimate. We're constantly evolving. If you have to evolve with the way the business changes. So we do a great deal of analysis on underperforming jobs. And as far as bringing stuff in, we went to the division managers before, but we do go through our go no go process, and they may look at a job and said, it's high risk. We didn't do well on the last one. I mean, I could throw an example out for our company. It's historical renovations. They're always problematic. We're not great at them. So if someone comes in with a big historical renovation, we're probably going to pass on it. So it's not something we're going to chase again. I guess. And again, past costs and performance are used to ensure future success.
Okay. So you're looking at the past and then taking what you've learned from the past and implementing it into future processes in the way that you decide on what you're going to be moving forwards with.
Sure. I mean, not only deficiencies in previous jobs, maybe there was an issue with the estimate. So we're looking at even jobs we didn't get, and why were we so high on that one? And you can, jump back in and dig into it and say, okay, this is the way we can do an estimate better to be more